Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magnificence. Say hi, guys. How are we doing? I'm here having a fun time.
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
We've reached Sephiroth's second form.
I love to suffer.
I am here having a fun time. This is great.
Hi.
I'm having a great time. I'm genuinely having a great time. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm just excited people are coming back. The fight's not even halfway done. We still got a lot of shit to get through. My name's G. I'm really glad to be here as your Nightmare King Dungeon Master. Let's get into things with a quick shout out. As always, you guys know how this goes. You guys know how this goes at this point. It's First Arson Games for Oracles of Akkros sourcebook that we use throughout the entire campaign. That is a lot of fun. Has homebrew subclasses, avatars, and a pantheon that we use here in this fun little world where nothing ever goes horribly wrong. I'm very excited for you all to be here. And let's get right into it with a quick little recap, my friends. So, our last session was battle. Fight, battle, everything sucks. Our party engaged in combat with the corpse, but she receded, wrapping herself into a sort of vine shield to protect herself from harm as the corpse creatures rose from the ground and began to attack the party. The corpse parasites, corpse husks, and corpse spiders all descended on our various party members, but they were able to cut through them rather easily, and through some unfortunate dice rolls on my end, none of them really landed too much of a hit on our party, but that means that they have more hit points for what is coming today. Most notably, towards the end of our battle, Suda, with a mighty, powerful blow and a very, very well-timed natural 20, was able to fully destroy the vine shield wrapped around the corpse after being vortex warped up to the corpse in the air by our very special abjuration wizard. Upon destruction of the shield, however, it lashed out, a psychic energy that not only pierced Suda but spread throughout the rest of the room as the chapel, this sanctuary, seemed to split and decay and fall apart around them, leaving them in a space that they may be in physically. Their presence here is unknown and strange, but all they know is that the corpse has since taken on a very familiar visage. One of the divinely touched party members, Alina Monsensiru, a twisted form that is similar, looks like the face of a friend, but not quite. Not quite. And now here, with the landscape changed, the battle continuing to rage, and the corpse now free from her shield of vines, and now facing the party directly, lashing out in fear and in anger, let's go ahead and get started. At the top of our round, we are keeping the same initiative order, but the battle has changed drastically. To give a description for everyone of where we are now, as the battlefield has shifted and crumbled, and this psychic energy has washed over the party after lashing out at Suda for destroying the vine shield, we see the battlefield change into nothing but just destroyed rubble. Piles of rock and stone. The walls that are still standing are crumpled and decayed. It is a unfamiliar, unrecognizable remnant of the chapel where they once stood. Where the rock ends, it is not just darkness. It does not go deeper into the earth. It is just nothing. Caradwin in particular, it's reminiscent of a dream you have sometimes. Here, deep in the earth, pulled into the retribution of a creature long dead but still lingering out of fear, you all stand before the twisted visage of Alina. You see she is not counted amongst your party members. You see only each other. Olwen, Carrie, Suda, Sage. Sage's spell has persisted amongst the changing battlefield. You do not even see Leto here. It's a thought for a moment as the not Alina raises her arms. A thought that comes to all of you at once, which is, should we have really come this deep into more Akkros. The corpse is going to go first. Suda, you are the closest, having just fallen directly in front. You are still in the same general physical space, though the terrain has shifted a bit. For purposes of this, the corpse, Alina, of course, being the same I refer to when I'm talking about the enemy that you all are fighting, is no longer suspended in the air, but is now set down on the ground in front of you. Alina's visage is the same as she always looks, but it's as if she's cloaked. There's like a shadow over her. And her eyes are not quite the same looking either. They are bright, bright, bright lights boring into all of you. Other than that, she looks essentially the same, but you all know this is not Alina. Just to start us off, first thing she's going to do, she's just going to lash out at Suda once again. You see, making no noise, that haunted voice that she's had is completely gone. The first one, 18 to hit.
That does not hit.
So first one still misses. Second one, let me roll second one again. Second one, 19.
That hits.
You all see Alina leap forward and just with her bare hands just swipe at Suda. That is going to be just 11 HP.
Mental, or what kind of damage is that?
That is slashing, so it is halved. So round up to 6. So that is both of her attacks. Yeah, Carrie, you're up next.
Taking a moment to orient herself in this strange and yet also slightly familiar, brand new environment, Carrie will notice that being pretty close to Olwen, it looks like we're right next to each other. Olwen doesn't look real good. That poisoned condition is very obvious to Caradwyn as someone who works a lot with poisons and is not very affected by them. And remembering that there is this book sort of slung to her side, will place a couple of hands on the book, couple of fingers on the book, and reach out to Olwen. And I would like to use some charges from the book to cast Lesser Restoration and remove the poison condition.
Fuck yes. Please do, absolutely.
You know, a good old cantrip is better than absolutely nothing, so I'm gonna Sacred Flame again. At the Elena corpse, so it is a dex save of 15.
Of course. That is going to be 15.
Alright, meets it, beats it, so no damage. Okay, that's my turn.
At the end of your turn, Alina's going to take her first legendary action. Carrie, when you activate the magic from that book, Alina's like burning, like glowing, like eyes, just like bright as two suns, snap immediately towards you, and she just points. You feel the ground beneath you break as the vines re-emerge out of nowhere and begin to grab at you. Please make me a strength save.
18 strength save.
It saves. It's the other one I'm thinking of that it wouldn't. So this one saves.
Neat.
So you are good. So they attempt to grab on, but you pull yourself free. This is something everyone sees, by the way. As those vines are activated and as Carrie resists the pull of them, you all see in like the sort of wispy smoke that is floating around this area, it begins to take shape off to the right side of this crumpled battlefield, sort of near where Carrie is. You see the very blurry figure of what looks like a woman form itself from the smoke and begins to speak in a far away echo. And you hear it echoing around you, and somehow you all know whatever language this smoke figure, this woman is speaking, is not any language all of you know. But just the psychic, strange nature of this area, it just begets complete understanding. So what she's actually speaking is not anything you know, but it somehow makes itself known to all of you. As she speaks, I told you again and again, that is not how it's going to work. The people that I followed, They are not going to listen to reason. I told you this over and over again. We have to take more drastic action than this. Okay? I know you're afraid of the consequences, but if we stand here doing nothing, just trying to talk our way out of the situation that we got ourselves into, the rest of the world is going to look like that. She says, pointing off into the void towards something that none of you can see. I know they named you the Iron Hand for a reason, so fucking prove it. And as those vines crumble away, unable to keep a hold on you, as does the smoking figure. All right. Suda, you are up next.
Through the haze of that mental attack is imagining the damage she's going to deal to fake Elena very, very shortly.
Amazing. All right. Sage, you are up next.
Do I have a sense that in this void area, if something was not to be able to fly, it would like fall to its death?
You still feel your physical body. You still feel like everything feels normal, so you're unsure. As far as you know, gravity and everything still affects as normal.
Okay, great. I still feel gravity. That's what I was going for. Okay, well, thank you for having the corpse steps forward because that helps me. I think Sage takes out the hagstone and looks through it at the space where that figure just dissipated from, trying to follow what's going on here by looking into the ethereal plane with the power of the sea invisibility spell that is able to bestow upon her.
God, I love you, Rosie. You in the stillness, the strange stillness of this new environment, it is like completely silent, save for the occasional shuffling of footsteps or the rending of flesh on attacks. You take out the hagstone, cold and smooth in your hand, that you received as an unexpected gift all those weeks ago. And you put it up to your eye and you look through it and you look towards the direction where that smoke figure was. You begin to decipher shapes from the smoke. The figure that dissipated still remains, though not currently visible to all of the party. She is a bit more solid in her form as you view her through the hagstone. This somewhat short, like wiry woman with very, very like tight, coily hair that you can see and long robes wrapped about her, eliminating any form on her body. Just complete like rectangle, heavy robes and cloaks. Not like anything you've ever really seen before at all. And she stands near the spot where she was before. But she's not like acting out a memory, an interaction like she was before. She's instead just standing there. And she's looking around the battlefield, almost as if she's looking for something.
So was using that item full action just to be 100% sure?
Just taking it out and looking through it, technically when you're looking through it, you are casting the sea invisibility.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to be sure. So Sage, I think, uses that mage armor skin aura to kind of wrap that spell onto herself so that it remains as she drops the hagstone back around her neck and holds her wand. The figure's looking for something. What are you looking for? She looks right at it, trying to like make eye contact if she looks towards in her direction.
She doesn't seem to react to your voice or presence very much.
Well, then that will be Sage's turn here, but the shadow spawn, I think Sage actually like points her wand towards what is not Alina, and the shadow spawn kind of blinks out of existence and then back into existence behind her and will just stay there. It will not attack yet because I think there is, well, let me ask you this. With that active, do I get the sense that this is Alina's physical form?
I'll tell you this right now, just for your own ease, just looking at this form, this isn't Alina. This is something wearing Alina's face.
Okay, it is like shapeshifted and not her physical form.
Yes.
And she is just not here. Okay, in that case, if Sage feels very confident in that, it will go ahead and use that Chilling Rend. That's a bad roll. 14 to hit.
14 does hit.
Oh, that is 11 plus 6 for 17 cold damage on that d12.
Beautiful.
And the corpse, if they decide to move, their movement is reduced by 20 until the start of their next turn, and that is my phase, because I get 2 turns, so I have to call it a phase.
At the end of your turn, she's going to use another legendary action. You see over Suda's shoulder as she stands in sort of like a stunned, faltering stance before Alina, with your shadow spawn behind her. You see Alina suddenly lift her eyes, look past Suda, and just look directly at you, and you feel the ground right beside you rumble. She's going to make an attack against you. That's a 25 to hit.
Okay, I will cast Shield anyway. It will still hit, but I am doing that in order to get some hit points back to my Arcane Ward, and also it will stay active moving forward.
Excellent. You see the ground beside you burst, similar to how when the corpse creatures were emerging from the ground. But this time, it's not a creature. It's just one of those inky black tendrils, similar to what you've seen on the parasites. It just bursts from the ground and lashes out at you. So it hits. Let me go ahead and roll this damage for you real quick. Oh, damn, that's pretty good damage. Yes, 16 piercing damage to you.
2 of that goes towards the Arcane Ward, which is back at 0. 14 of that towards Sage. Let me make a con save. That is going to be maintaining concentration, as I manage to strengthen that Arcane Ward just a tiny bit so that it absorbs a little bit of that damage as this lashes out at me.
At the end, as that legendary action finishes, you see out of the corner of your eye the shadows form once again. That figure. Instead, on the left side, a bit closer to where you are, Sage. Her form, now that you've seen her through that hagstone, her form is now more solid for everyone else. Everyone else sees the form I described to you. And she is standing with her hands folded in front of her, almost like pacing back and forth, just a few steps, as she continues to speak. If we move closer to the west, we can overtake their main temple. Once we do that, the rest of them will fall and dissolve. But we have to get into the heart of it before they actually recognize us as being there. There's a pause, as if someone else is speaking to her. I know. But they trust me. If not trust me, they think they can control me. So if anyone can walk straight into the heart of the enemy, it's me. Besides, it'd be just like going home, wouldn't you think? They won't hurt me. They need me too much.
May I roll a check to see if I feel like this is a replaying of a memory, or if this is an active spirit that is here speaking to the corpse, or something like that?
I'll just give it to you easy enough because your clever use of the hagstone and that see invisibility to see the area around you, there's no one else that you can see responding to her. Your best guess, this is some sort of memory. Whoever she's speaking to is not here. All right, at the end of that, we continue on with our initiative with Olwen.
As the poison expels from Olwen's body, he's going to stumble around Carrie, notching an arrow as he does so. As he points it towards this person wearing Alina's face, the bow visibly goes slack like a little bit, and he's going to call out again. I don't understand. You wear our companion's face. You offer us a weapon that would hurt you as much as the creatures here. You say us, you say we, when you talk about hiding from this thing that hungers from you. Why? And it's clear that Olwen is hesitating for 2 reasons. 1, because he doesn't understand why this fight is happening, and 2, he can tell it's not Elena, but it looks like Elena. And that does get to him a little bit. I will hold an action to fire my bow. I will fire it if they take a swing at someone.
All right, wonderful. The response you get to your questions, your voice, is just Alina's sunlit eyes just staring right back at you. Just complete silence.
It's the end of my turn.
Top of the round with the corpse. You see Alina look away from Olwen and look back at Suda, cocks her head to the side and kind of like steps around her in almost like an animalistic observing way. Like with a flow of her head, looks at Suda almost amused at her state, is what her body language is conveying. You see Suda as she kind of floats in front of you in what you interpret as very much a taunting manner. She reaches out and puts a hand on the back of your head in order to grab you by the hair and turn your head to face everyone else as she points at Carrie and Olwen. Carrie and Olwen, please both of you make me an intelligence saving throw.
I'll release my held action, because I'm going to assume this reads as an attack, right?
Oh yeah, this is very much. Feel free to shoot her before you make your save.
That is 13 to hit.
13 to hit, does not hit.
Okay, that was a 19 on my int save.
3.
All right. So that is a success from Carrie, but a failure from Olwen. Olwen, you are going to take 26 points of psychic damage. Carrie, you are going to take 13. Olwen, you are stunned. So end of the corpse's next turn, your stun will end, Olwen. Suda, as the corpse releases her hold on the back of your head, on your hair, turning you to look as she's set this off, she lets you go. As she lets you go, your stun ends, and she just steps back and looks at you as if waiting. That is the end of her turn. Carrie, you are up next.
As an action, Carradine would like to use thaumaturgy to yell real loudly, basically. Solora, help us. I just want to see if anything happens. A reaction to the name, anything. Please, God. Come on, Dirtman.
And if that apparition reacts instead, I mean, I would know that.
Yeah, I'm looking for any reaction to a very impassioned plea to Solora.
Sage. The smoke figure turns her head.
It's not the corpse. She's not the corpse.
As you say that out loud, Carrie says Solora, and Sage, you say it's not her. You all hear that same voice again. That's not me! Just screeching throughout this space. And all of your eyes are on Alina as the corpse makes that declaration.
Great. And then I feel absolutely no guilt at all. I would like to use my bonus action to have my spiritual weapon attack the corpse. 25 to hit.
Fuck yeah, that hits.
Whopping 8 points of force damage.
Hell yeah. End of your turn. Go ahead and make me a strength save again, Carrie, as she's going to legendary action once again.
8.
8. That's a failure. The vines that you previously batted off come out once again and grab on to elbow, wrist, forearm, making your knees buckle, just like pulling you towards the ground, effectively restraining you. All right, that is it for the legendary action. At the end of that legendary action, you see that figure in the smoke form once again. You see the woman seemingly braced against like a table or something, and she is shaking her head quietly, just standing there before she suddenly straightens up. No, this is... I understand that we're looking for better solutions, that we're trying to find a way to break through their defenses, to end this inane conflict. But you have any idea what you're proposing here? This is madness incarnate. If you do this... She pauses. Her stance seems to soften a bit, her shoulders dropping. If you do this, you do not know the effects that it will create. Something like this has the capacity to affect the future for years and years and years to come. I know you want a way to end this. I do too. But this will not just end our enemy. It will end everything. The smoke fades, and we continue on with our combat with Suda. You are not stunned anymore. Fuck her up.
The fog from her mind clears, and she sees her target, the one that she's imagined beating into the ground over the last couple seconds, with a reckless attack against Adelina, with this maddened gleam in her eye. You lied and manipulated us. That is a 15.
15 does hit.
All right, I'll take it. 17 damage. As my much longer, more vicious-looking sword cuts through my target. And that's it.
End of your turn, she's going to take her other legendary action she can do here. Since Carrie is finally trapped in her grasp, Carrie, please make me a Constitution saving throw.
So con save is fine, and that is going to be a 17.
17 does succeed, but it is still half damage. All right. So 11 halved to 6, you take 6 necrotic damage, and you see the wound just placed on Alina by Suda stitches itself together a little bit.
It's fucking on. All right.
After that legendary action, the smoke forms again. After each of these, it is forming. You see the smoke figure is sitting still on a stool, on a chair, but is sitting completely still. Sort of a wide-eyed look on her face as she just sits there. I didn't think she'd actually do it. Look, you, despite everything, are the one that she trusts the most, more than anyone, more than me even, okay? You are the only one who can stop this before it goes way too far. Because the moment she crosses that threshold, you know there's no going back. Not for her, not for us, not for anyone. If she finishes this, we are dead. We are done. There is nothing left. I know you have your loyalties to her, but step up and stop this while we still can. And that fades away. And we continue on with our combat with Sage.
Oh, this is juicy. I think Sage is like having a hard time dividing her attention between this figure in the smoke and then what's actually happening in the battle and trying to help her friends. She is still holding concentration on the shadow spawn, so she cannot cast another support spell. I'm so sorry, otherwise I would help with that. It's not worth losing this one. So instead, Sage will, just continuing to point her wand at Alina, you see a few bursts of light coming from the heart of the shadow spawn. I am casting magic missile. I'll upgrade it. We'll do a little second level magic missile. That's just gonna hit. G, do you do the one where you just roll 1 and then multiply it by the number of missiles, or do you want me to roll all 4?
Whichever you prefer.
I like to roll all 4 because I think rolling dice is fun.
Rolling dice is fun. Live your dream.
18 force damage.
Ooh, baby.
5 plus 6 is 11 cold damage.
Hell yeah.
And we're gonna stay there in case she decides she wants to run. She can't run as fast because depression.
All right, Olwen, you are up next.
As Olwen is reeling from injuries and trying to recover control of his body again, would you allow me to take the search action?
Yeah, if you care to.
Okay. I would like to make... It's weird, but I would like to make an insight check.
Who are you inciting?
I want to understand the corpse is scared. I know that. So why does it seem so contradictory in like some of the things it does?
Yeah, you want to insight the corpse?
Yeah.
Please do.
Not great. 10.
The difficulty doesn't come from looking at the corpse now. The difficulty comes from comparing her to what you saw in the chapel, because she was just a decayed, mummified thing. Now she has a face. Though it is Alina's, it's something to read into. It's difficult now just simply because you have nothing to compare it to. I will say with that 11, what you're seeing in front of you now is a figure of power that does not have fear on their face. Looks relaxed, looks amused, and is just carrying themselves calmly.
That is my turn.
Back up at the top of our round, we have the corpse again. I'm gonna roll and see if she regains her special little attack that she used before. Let's see if she does, so she gets it back. So she rolled a 5, so she recharges her ability. Suda and Carrie, intelligence saving throw, please.
21.
8.
18 psychic damage to Suda, 9 to Carrie. Suda, how you looking?
1 hit point.
Well, the only hit point that matters is the last one. So,
God, I love this fight. Carrie, you're up next.
I'm real annoyed. It's whatever. This thing is like fucking with my head somehow, and I don't like that. Okay? You're supposed to beat me up physically, but like mentally, my mind is a fortress. Okay? Stop.
You are still restrained from those vines from that one legendary
Okay.
action that she used.
That's fine.
So you are still under the restrained condition. However, that affects your turn.
That actually does not affect what I was planning to do. So first I will take my bonus action to have my spiritual weapon swipe at corpsey thing. Cool. It's a 13 plus whatever my attack modifier is, so I'm pretty sure that hits.
Yeah.
3. So 9 force damage. And then as my action, I will utilize my channel divinity to path to the grave on the corpse. So you curse one creature you can see within 30 feet of you until the end of your next turn. The next time you or an ally of yours hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage. Knowing full well that Suda has a swing coming up, and she can do a lot more damage than I can. So that's it. That be my turn.
End of your turn. In response to that hit you did on her and the curse, she's going to use her legendary action. And go ahead and make me another con save, my friend.
I love this dice so much. A natural 19, so
Ooh!
23 for my con save.
Hell yeah, you only take 5 necrotic, and she heals a little bit. We see the smoke figure form itself once again. She is standing in a sort of frantic body language. She is pacing rapidly, wringing her hands together, and looks over at a noise that none of you can hear, and suddenly walks quickly forward and goes, "Did you get it? Okay, let me see. Okay, this will have to do the job. Listen, look at me. Look at me! You go in quickly, you go in quietly, and you do not hesitate, because if you hesitate, then she will end us all. Do you understand me? We are not doing this for us. Damned if we die in the process. We are going to do this for everyone that is going to come after us, because they are the ones that are going to suffer if she succeeds. Do you understand me? Do not hesitate. Do not stay your hand when you get the opportunity. End her. Go." She pushes a figure away that none of you can see and takes a faltering step back, her shoulders crinkling in on herself as she seems to clutch at her heart, putting one hand over her mouth. She falls to her knees. wrapping her arms around herself in her despair. As the smoke fades, Suda, it is your turn.
Suda is clearly dizzy, woozy, swaying on her feet, eyes barely focused on the simulacrum in front of her. There's something in her that cries out for self-preservation, that says, you need to back off, recover, and then come back into the fight. But somewhere she can, whether it's hallucination or real, she can almost hear Naime calling out for her. And nothing will keep her from trying. So, another reckless attack against this thing. 21.
21 definitely hits. And with the curse from Carrie, she's considered vulnerable to whatever damage you're inflicting. So I will double whatever you inflict.
18.
18. 36, correct? If my addition's correct. You reel back and you strike forward with speed and strength that you have honed over the years. And in just a flash, as you strike forward, it's almost as if like the smoke has formed around your hand as you strike. Naime went somewhere. You're not sure where. But you feel a bit of extra strength in your arm despite that. As you wield this blade, you see for the first time in this battle that Alina stumbles backwards. She gets put off her balance. The intense burning glow of her eyes and the shadow over her face doesn't hide the furrow of her brow as she has to take a step back from you. As she is affected, feels the pain that you're inflicting, and for a moment looks almost confused, bewildered that you laid such a blow, that she took harm from you. And she blinks, the burning suns of her eyes flickering as she does. All right, end of your turn. We have Sage.
Nobody. Well, Caradwin, you're still in those vines grasps, right?
Yes, I am still technically restrained.
Great. Would you like to make a Constitution save, or are you just gonna let me warp you out of there?
I think I've seen Sage, having seen Sage warp people before. I think that initial sensation, Caradwin would be like, "What the oh, okay," and would not resist.
So yeah, Sage knows you. She knows you're gonna go for like some artery. Sage would know the name of the arteries. I don't. So she's gonna put you next to the corpse, there with her action, casting that vortex warp. So she's gonna stay where she's at, and we're gonna do another chilling rend, y'all. 19 to hit for 10 cold damage.
She is looking hurt. She's looking pretty damn hurt.
Great, that's my turn. That was an easy one.
Before Olwen's turn, she's going to legendary action once again. She lost her captured prey in Carrie, and she knows why she lost it. Those fiery eyes flicker over Suda's shoulder, past her again, and once again look at you, Sage. Sage, please make me a strength save as the earth around you cracks.
Okay, great. That's a 2.
Okay, yeah, that is a failure. So the vines do move. You see they sink into the ground and move rapidly towards you. You see the ground begin to crack and erupt where it's traveling quickly underground and jump up and wrap around you instead, since you took Carrie away. That is all that can be done. So you are restrained. That is the end of that legendary action. At the end of that legendary action, the smoke forms once more. You see that the figure is not standing, is not speaking. She is almost reclined. The way that one would be on, what does it remind you of? A surgery table. She doesn't seem to be able to move. She's flexing her fingers and her arms and seems to be pulling against something and is looking around with a shaking form and seems to see what she's looking for. and pulls again as her eyes are just facing forward. Listen. It was for your own good, okay? You need to take a break and just listen. You can't just wish all of this away. You can't just make it all stop. I'm telling you, if you go forward with this, we're done, okay? Okay. You already... Don't let his death be in vain, okay? I know you regret it. And I know you regret it if I go too. I just need you to... And she stops. And her pulling against unseen restraints slowly ceases. And as she seems to just suddenly go limp and catatonic, the smoke fades. Kuvos, you've just finally escaped this fate of solitary, retrieved your items only to have that specter summon himself before you again. His form almost flickering, not quite as solid, harder to see in low light. And something about his demeanor, his stance, throws you immediately because it is not usual. He paces into your dorm, pacing back and forth, not in a manner of impatience, almost hunched, in pain, sort of pacing, as he breathes heavily, as if he can't quite catch his breath, like he's barely standing on his own 2 feet. And he just goes back and forth, wrinkling his brow in exertion.
Kuvos's brows furrow immediately. He was planning to tell the Spectre that they needed to wait to speak, that this being and his staff could not contact him so quickly, mainly because he wanted to make sure that things were private. But this doesn't seem like something that can wait. So there's a moment of hesitation as he puts his hand on the door and moves to close it, because of the fact that he's just been let out of it. But he finally pushes it shut and turns back around to the Spectre as he paces back and forth. And goes, "What's wrong? You all right?"
There's something pushing against something. What are your friends doing down there?
Doing down in more Akkros? I don't know. I haven't been there.
Oh, it's fine. It's... My head's just a bit scattered. It's... No.
Do you need to sit? And Kuvos moves forward immediately. He has no idea what the fuck to do. This is something he's never seen. He can't figure out how he would even help this person, let alone what sort of thing could be ailing him.
Yeah, it's an incorporeal body in front of you, one that you can't even touch, much less diagnose anything.
But he's still going to try.
Absolutely.
Would this be like an Arcana check? Medicine? What the hell do I roll to?
I'll let you choose whichever one you would like. However, I will say whichever one you do roll, it will be at disadvantage, because again, this is an incorporeal being that you can barely see, much less even lay hands on in any way. So it's going to be difficult to sense anything off.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Arcana, just because that is better. Well, I'm fucked either way. That's a nat 1.
On the first die, we already knew.
Oh, dice, how I love you.
Excellent. Yeah, it's very much like you said for Kuvos. This is unlike anything he even knows how to do, unlike anything he's encountered before. Even if this was a real physical entity in front of you, you wouldn't even know where to start. You are completely lost in this moment.
I think knowing that, Kuvos will still approach, kind of move to place a hand on the specter's shoulder, and then remember that it's a specter, and his hand is just going to pass through it, and just kind of hold his hand there, even though he's not touching. Do you need to sit down? What can I do?
Nothing. It'll go away. It'll go away. I just... This isn't even why I'm here. It was something wrong.
Yes.
When they took the staff, there was a woman holding it. She had on these red robes. She saw me, Kuvos Nemanath. She held the staff, and she saw me.
Red robes are Magister's robes.
Magister's. This place and its damn Magisters. Last thing I need is another fucking wizard poking at me, trying to figure out what's going on. He winces loudly in pain, and at this point completely doubles over, almost like holding his midsection as if something is causing him intense agony, and he continues to speak through gritted teeth. What are they doing down there?
Kuvos continues to stand over him, not like right in his physical space, but I think he's kind of frozen in shock, and he's kind of muttering under his breath, like, fuck, tossing decorum out the window. He's trying to keep his own voice low, because if he gets loud, someone's going to come running. I don't know. I need a minute to find out. I can send them a message, but it's not... I think he turns and starts flipping through the spell book, trying to, like...
You hear him continue to grimace and make sounds of pain, and you have your back to him. You can't see what's happening as you are flipping frantically through your spell book, looking for something, anything that may be of use in this situation. And you hear the sound of what almost sounds like breaking bones for a moment, but you keep your eyes focused on the spell book in front of you, trying to find something. And at a particularly loud sound of something cracking, you hear his voice begin to drop and warp and change into something you have never heard before. Don't let them go! Your hands freeze on the pages of your spellbook, hearing that tone, that strange cadence, that otherworldly thing coming from behind you. But it fades just as quickly as it had arrived. And you just hear, and if you turn to see, that specter just shuddering on the ground.
What was that? Who was that?
I don't know what they did down there, but I remember.
What do you mean you remember?
Too much. Salora Mullen. Salora. Hers is tome too.
The tome that we read.
He sits back on the ground, his whole body almost trembling. And the specter, what once looked incorporeal, hard to see in this low light, suddenly looks a lot more real. Not completely physical, not completely solid, but easier to see color in his face. He looks down at his hands and clenches one in particular and clenches the other, seemingly testing the limits of his own joints. And he presses one against his heart, taking several deep breaths. Soloris is the second tome. Rumwald is the author.
I told him what to write. I told him what to write.
So you helped with the books?
For all of them. The whole compendium. What did she say to me? What did she say to me? Salora. She said to me that if people forgot, they could not be equipped to fight it.
How many were there?
3. There were 3 books. There were 3 of us.
Do you remember the others? Their titles, anything?
He visibly flinches.
I don't know where they are, but Rumwald wrote them. He had the staff. He held the staff, and I told him what to write.
He grasps at his head and flinches again.
It's like thousands of voices are in my head all singing at once, beyond anything that I can hear or decipher.
Are you still in pain?
It's not quite pain. It's just like so much existence inside my head. You need to go to the library here outside of this damned place. Anywhere, any library, every single one. You need to find Rumwald's work. You need the first one. The first one. Tome 1. The first tome. The first tome was mine. The first tome of the Compendium of Sorrows was mine. Tome 1. Karen Lancer. The entombed paladin. How she trapped me in this. She did this to me. She put me here after everything I did for her, after everything I did for you. You put me here to suffer. He gets to his feet, no longer shaking with pain or with exertion, but with unquelled, barely contained rage, unlike anything you have ever seen before. Though his form is incorporeal, you fear for the first time that he may be able to do damage to the area around him with how much his form shakes with rage, with anger. He stands to his full height. Find that fucking book. And you see, standing before you, as he named himself, Karen Lancer, who takes on this loyal mantle from long, long ago, as he remembers identity for the first time in who knows how long of being trapped without one, as he remembers a long, forgotten oath that was not broken by him. And it's this declaration of rage that ends him as his form begins to slowly dissolve, become one with the dust floating in the air around you. And with this information laid heavy on your shoulders, he is gone. You are alone once again.
I think Kuvos is left shaking for a very different reason. The display of power from Karen is something that, as you said, he'd never seen before. It's rage. And it is terrifying. I think as Kuvos processes, he kind of slumps against the wall for a second and finds his spellbook one more time, only to shakily summon Kari, so that for the first time in a week he can hold her.
All right. Olwen, you're up next.
I think Owen is going to stumble backwards to Sage, limping from his injuries, picking up speed very slowly as he goes. He is going to sort of through very ragged breaths, just going to say, Alright, you obsessive weirdo, let's get you out of that. Uh, and Owen is going to take one of his attacks to shove Sage out of the restraint.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that to free Sage.
Thank you, bestie.
As Olwen shoves you, you do feel something just sort of go into your hands, and you see a bag filled with like 30 good berries.
You need it more than me right now.
In his brain, you're the only one who's not super hurt right now. If we're gonna go down, you should hold these.
Fair.
Yeah, Sage stumbles and manages to regain herself. She doesn't even really look at the bag you handed her. She takes it, but she doesn't look at it because her eyes are darting around looking for the next place that ghost is going to materialize in the smoke.
Owen will sort of continue stumbling past Sage a little bit. That's all of my movement. He exhales one last breath, but as he does so, his breath is cold. It's visible here in the underground. It lingers around the quiver a little bit as he pulls out a frozen arrow, and I'm going to take a shot at the creature wearing Lean's face. That is 19 to hit.
19 hits.
I'm going to burn a use of favored foe to add another d6 to the hit. Is this creature undead?
This creature is undead.
So that's 3d8 plus 1d6 plus 4. That is 19 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I think as Olwen pulls back on his bow and the arrow flies forth, I think some of the mist in this area parts a little bit, but it doesn't dissipate. As it sort of swirls behind the arrow, it changes from this ghostly mist to this natural, threatening, cold area of mist that you can find in a blizzard deep in the mountains. As just the section behind the arrow, part of it changes the way it looks to look more like a small, isolated, like just complete blind fog trails behind it as it shoots forward.
Your arrow cuts through the air, the smallest whistle echoing through this utterly silent battlefield as it launches forward and strikes incredibly true, lodging itself right into the corpse, Alina, this figure's chest, just below the collarbone, deep into the chest. And similar to her reaction to Suda, she is forced to stumble back just from the strength of the blow, and puts a hand to the chest and looks bewildered at what just happened. Curls that hand against her chest around the arrow that is dug in, and looks up and looks at you, Olwen. None of you are unique in your struggle, you know, she says as she takes a step backwards, and then another. I've done this many, many times. At the end of the day, it all ends the same. After all, there's no other way to satiate my hunger than to consume. Her last words ends in a whisper as she lets herself fall backwards and disappears into the dark, falling off of the rubble into the void that surrounds all of you. In the stillness of the battlefield, after Alina, the corpse, whatever she is, has disappeared, Everyone's standing still, varying degrees of injury. The landscape doesn't shift immediately, as all of you would expect. It remains. And it's a moment of quiet confusion amongst your party as everyone's looking around, looking at each other, maybe still tense, waiting for the next thing to hit. And you see the smoke form one more time. It is not the figure that has been appearing and reappearing throughout this entire battle, however. This figure is blurry. You cannot see many of the details, but what you do see is someone tall, 6'1", broad-shouldered, long, perfectly straight hair over both shoulders. The left arm seems maybe a bit bulkier than the rest of her body. There's fabric, what looks like maybe a cape thrown over that left arm, but it sits heavier. And the figure, lacking any details other than just that general shape, stands near the edge where Alina disappeared and turns very slowly, as if to look over her shoulder. But before she can turn to face all of you completely so you can actually see the blurry face, you all suddenly feel everything shift again, similar to how it did when you were first brought to this strange psychic landscape. The darkness of the void overcomes all of you. Before that is all any of you can see. We once again feel ourselves return to the harsh familiarity of that same cathedral that you disappeared from. The world unaffected by what transpired. Leto is sitting on the ground with his back against the door, breathing heavily, but all is still. For now, we are going to exit initiative.
There is this long, droning silence that permeates between us before Suda kind of breaks it, not by speaking, but by just flat out dropping to her knees and nearly collapsing.
Leto, what happened? What did you see?
You see, curled on the ground next to Leto is Alina. She is completely motionless. Her eyes are closed, but you see her eyes moving beneath her eyelids as if someone dreaming.
I'm immediately going to her and checking to see first aid checks.
Leto sitting there, breathing heavily, just up against the wall. Don't rest too much now. It went out that way, he says, pointing behind him towards the door. The vines you see having been ripped away from it. Alina's not hurt as far as I can tell. She went down at the same time all of you went blank. I think we have to go. But I don't think we're done.
Caradwyn will look at the state of the party, knowing that we need to move sooner rather than later. Suda hanging on by a thread, Olwen hanging on by maybe 2 threads, 4 threads. But Carrie knows it is not that time yet. So she will walk over to where Suda is crouched, fetal positioned, collapsed on the ground, and say, "Do you trust me?"
Very weakly, without looking at you, she says, "Always."
All right, this is gonna hurt, and then it'll be better. And I would like to unarmed strike Suda.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you do 1 HP of damage. I get where you're going with this. You punch her in the head.
So Suda drops to unconscious at 0, and then Carrie, with a hand on the Tomb of Sorrows, the Compendium of Sorrows, will cast Cure Wounds at 3rd level, and you will get 27 hit points.
Yeah, you guys see Carrie punch Suda in the head and then immediately bring her back looking better than before.
It's like expecting to wake up with a hangover, but oddly you're refreshed and feeling so much better. That headache you had was gone. So Suda snaps awake after the healing. Oh, that that what? That felt good, actually.
Okay, Carrie will look up from Suda and look over at Olwen and say, I don't think I can do that again. Can you take care of yourself?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Owen heads up, and I'll toss him the bag from where I'm kneeling next to Alina.
Before you get too far, Olwen Suda will look up to you. If I may peer forward and use my healing touch, which will be 6 hit points.
After a few moments, Alina does stir. She is in the same state she was prior to the weird psychic transformation, but just sits up, kind of like blinking sleep almost from her face, and just sits up against the wall next to Leto where she was, and just remains there.
As we're catching our breath a little bit, and Owen can feel his lungs fill with air instead of blood, he's going to just gently press his ear against the floor to see if I can still hear that pulsing.
You crouch down amongst the aches and pains in your body of the battle, and you put your ear against the ground, and you hear nothing. It's cold and it's quiet, and it seems empty, though the crystals lining the walls still pulse with that red light. The vines are shriveled on the ground, torn and cut and destroyed.
I don't hear the pulsing anymore. I think when you broke those vines, you might have cut her off from whatever this is.
Can I cast a detect magic in here?
Yeah, for sure. You cast that detect magic. You don't get a sense of anything beyond the stone gray structure at the very back, kind of partially covered by some of those red crystals.
The crystals are still there, but there's nothing left in the plants. I don't think this is over, though. Do you think we have time to bandage up or do we need to get out now as fast as we can?
Not a full night, I would say. Leto speaks up. Once again, posted up by the door.
Can we take an hour?
At the most.
That would be useful.
Whatever form it was you were all fighting, the actual body, it's not here because you vanquished it. You vanquished something. But the physical body, it left.
It wasn't Solora.
When they left, what did it seem like? Did it seem like they were running away? Did they seem like they were running with a purpose? Or couldn't really tell?
The corpse, whatever it is, suddenly it jerked as if it had been hit. It was completely motionless. All of you were for this entire time, but it suddenly jerked as if it had been hit and took on a posture like... It was strange to see a thing you know is dead and wrong to suddenly take on the posture and walk of someone so above everyone else. It just straightened up, stepped off the platform, tore the vines away, and left. Didn't even give me a second glance.
Alright, let's lick our wounds as fast as we can, and let's go after it.
Yeah, I don't think it would let us leave without too much of a fight.
But it left us alone for long enough, so I agree. Recuperation, bandage our wounds, move on.
And as you all settle in for a short rest, knowing you're not done, there's more that awaits you outside. Sitting in the revelation of everything that happened, everything you learned, though it is confusing, You know that it's probably more than anyone has known before. This deep down in the earth, whatever it is that had such a cursed existence down here, you and your party broke a balance that has been hanging by a thread for who knows how long. And though you don't know what effects that will have on the rest of the world, all of you have a very uncertain feeling in your gut. And that, everyone, is where we're going to end today's session. I hope you all enjoyed. I stressed these motherfuckers out enough for the last couple hours. Everyone needs to drink some water and take a breath. Hug your mom or something. I don't know.
I don't need that. I need answers.
You know what, G? Guess what? My tummy doesn't even hurt, because I can't feel my tummy.
The pain is ethereal at this point.
Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And though the fight has been dramatic and harrowing and nasty, it's not done yet. There's still more to do. After all, we're still here in the heart of more Akkros. And now we have to find a way out. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.